The Buddha sat calmly beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence radiating serenity and wisdom in the quiet dawn. His eyes held infinite compassion. Gazing upon his disciple, who sought understanding of life's suffering and ultimate purpose. "You have come with questions," said the Buddha, his voice gentle, carrying the weight of timeless truth and patience. "Life's suffering is universal," he began. "But its cause and resolution are within your grasp if you understand it deeply." The disciple bowed, heart heavy with the burdens of doubt, yearning for clarity and freedom from the chaos within. "Suffering arises from attachment," said the Buddha, "from the desires and illusions that bind the mind to impermanence and discontent." The disciple asked, "Master, how may I escape attachment when it clings tightly to my soul like shadows in darkness?" "The path is illuminated," the Buddha replied, "not by belief alone, but by practice and wisdom attained through inner contemplation." The disciple hesitated and inquired further, "What practice should guide me to liberation? What truth can dissolve my restless longing?" "Observe the Noble Eightfold Path," said the Buddha, "a journey of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. It is your refuge." The disciple listened attentively, every word planting seeds of understanding, though doubts lingered in the fertile soil of his heart. "Right view," the Buddha instructed. "Recognize suffering's cause and cessation. Knowing the nature of existence is impermanent and interconnected." "Right intention," he continued. "Commit your thoughts to nonviolence and compassion, abandoning ill will and selfish ambition without hesitation." "Right speech," he said. "Speak honestly, avoiding harm with words that heal, unify, and uphold truth above all deceit." "Right action," the Buddha explained. "Act ethically, avoiding harm to any being, living with mindfulness and kindness towards all life." "Right livelihood," he added. "Choose work that benefits others, renouncing pursuits of harm and injustice that betray your higher purpose." "Right effort," the Buddha continued. "Direct your energy toward goodness, abandoning harmful thoughts and cultivating virtues with unwavering diligence." "Right mindfulness," he taught. "Observe the present moment without judgment, transcending distractions to awaken clarity within yourself." "Right concentration," the Buddha concluded. "Focus your mind in meditation, attaining tranquility and insight into the ultimate truths of existence." The disciple trembled with revelation, his doubts dissolving as light emerged from the deep well of wisdom imparted to him. "Master," he asked, "how shall I remain steadfast when fears arise and challenges obscure my vision of the noble path?" "Remember," said the Buddha, "all beings stumble. You must rise each time with compassion for yourself, forging strength from vulnerability." "Master," he asked again, "how can my practice benefit others, bringing peace where suffering seems unending and chaos thrives?" "Your practice," the Buddha replied, "will inspire others by your example. Light spreads when hearts awaken to harmony and truth. Compassion is the heart of practice," the Buddha said. "Let your actions heal others and relieve burdens with wisdom and love." The disciple bowed deeply, words insufficient to express the gratitude surging within his transformed heart and enlightened mind. "Master," he spoke, "your teachings reveal paths unseen, and my burden feels lighter, as if sunrise graces my shadowed soul." The Buddha smiled faintly, his silence carrying understanding deeper than words. Acknowledging the transformation unfolding within his disciple, "Your journey begins anew," said the Buddha. "The path is endless, but every step is vital. Walk it with faith." The disciple's tears were not of sorrow but of awakening, as understanding eclipsed the turmoil once clouding his view. As the sun rose, the disciple departed, carrying the Buddha's words within him. Ready to walk the noble path, the Buddha remained beneath the Bodhi tree, steadfast in his role as guide and beacon to all who sought truth. In silence, The Buddha observed the world, his wisdom spreading as waves ripple through still waters, reaching distant hearts, and so, the teachings continued to shine, enduring eternally, lighting paths for those seeking freedom from suffering and illusions of life. Another day, the Buddha wandered to a bustling town where people were consumed by desires and blinded by endless distractions. His presence brought a calmness to the air, and soon, a crowd gathered, curious about the teacher's profound aura. Among them was a young man, discontented despite his wealth, who approached the Buddha with a heart full of questions. "Master," he began, "I have everything I could desire. Yet my soul feels empty. Let them pass like drifting shadows. In acceptance, you will discover joy, for joy is not dependent on fleeting weather but on boundless presence." The man frowned and asked, "How can I abandon craving when it drives my ambition and gives me purpose in life?" "Craving binds you to suffering," the Buddha replied. "For all that you grasp will one day slip away like water." A woman nearby stepped forward and asked, "Master, is it wrong to desire beauty, success, or love? Must we forsake all desires?" The Buddha answered, "Desires rooted in attachment lead to suffering, but intentions born of compassion and wisdom cultivate inner harmony. Let your mind flow naturally, unhindered by clinging or resistance, and clarity will arise." A disciple said thoughtfully, "Master, I think I understand." The woman asked, "Master, how can we begin to practice this detachment in our lives full of responsibilities and expectations?" "Begin with mindfulness," the Buddha said. "Observe your thoughts and actions, recognizing what binds you to suffering and letting go." A merchant stepped forward and said, "Master, I am tied to my trade. Can one practice detachment while fulfilling worldly duties?" "Yes," the Buddha replied. "Detachment is not abandonment. Perform your duties with wisdom, free from clinging to outcomes. Do not fight the storms. Instead, embrace them with calm and understanding. The sky holds all, but it is never bound by the clouds. Even love grows when freed from possessiveness." The child smiled, understanding in a way only a young heart could, and the Buddha's gaze softened with gentle approval. The young man, still troubled, asked, "Master, how can one find joy in a life of impermanence and detachment? Is it not lonely?" "Joy arises," the Buddha said, "when you find contentment in the present moment, free from the chains of past or future." The woman asked, "Master, how do we maintain mindfulness and detachment amidst the chaos and noise of daily life?" "Seek stillness within," the Buddha replied. "Like a tree rooted deeply, unmoved by the winds of change around it." The crowd murmured, each person reflecting on the wisdom shared, their hearts opening to possibilities they had not seen before. The merchant said, "Master, what if our attachments harm others? How do we make amends and live with compassion instead?" "Compassion begins with self-awareness," the Buddha said. "Recognize your actions' impact and seek to alleviate suffering wherever it exists." The young man asked, "Master, will practicing detachment and compassion make us immune to pain and sorrow entirely?" "No," the Buddha replied, "but it will transform pain into understanding and sorrow into a deeper connection with all beings." The woman asked again, "Master, how can we share these teachings with those who may not be ready to hear them?" "Live by example," the Buddha said, "for your actions will inspire others more than words ever could." They seemed endless at first, but I endured. I remained grounded, observing them as passing clouds. And in time, they dissolved into peace. The Buddha remained serene and silent, watching the sun dip below the horizon, his presence a beacon of unwavering truth, and so, his teachings echoed in the lives of those who listened, spreading like ripples in a vast and endless pond. Another day, the Buddha traveled to a serene grove, where sunlight filtered through trees and a quiet breeze whispered peace, his disciples gathered around him, sensing this moment carried significance. For the Buddha's journey seemed to approach its final chapter. "Master," a disciple asked, "what wisdom do you leave us as we continue this path in your absence? How shall we proceed?" The Buddha smiled gently and said, "Each of you must be a lamp unto yourselves, finding refuge in the truth within. Truth is not hidden," he continued, "but clouded by ignorance. Clear the clouds with diligence, and the light of wisdom emerges." Another disciple asked, "Master, what if we falter? Without your guidance, how can we avoid straying from the noble path?" "Faltering is natural," the Buddha replied, "but rise again with compassion for yourself, knowing that mistakes are teachers, not barriers." "Master," another spoke, "how can we ensure your teachings endure, guiding future generations amidst inevitable change and challenges?" "Preserve the essence of truth," the Buddha said. "Adapt it to the world while staying rooted in compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom." The disciples nodded, their hearts heavy yet steadfast, for their devotion to the Dharma transcended attachment to the Buddha's presence. "Impermanence is the nature of all things," the Buddha said, "including my time here. Grieve not, for the truth remains eternal." A young disciple asked, "Master, how can we face the sorrow of losing you when your presence has been our refuge?" "Grief is a form of love," the Buddha replied, "but transform it into gratitude for the teachings that illuminate your path." Another asked, "Master, what is the ultimate purpose of this path, this practice we have devoted our lives to following?" "The purpose," the Buddha said, "is liberation from suffering, attaining peace within, and fostering harmony for all beings you encounter." A bird sang in the grove, and the Buddha observed it with serene attention, as if finding a lesson in its song. "Observe nature," he said, "for its cycles reflect the Dharma. Birth, growth, decay, and death are but stages of existence." A disciple asked, "Master, how can we overcome fear of death, which looms even as we strive to embrace impermanence?" "Fear arises from ignorance," the Buddha said, "but understanding death as a natural transition dissolves the illusion of finality and loss." A disciple asked, "Master, how can we practice compassion every day, especially when faced with our own struggles?" Buddha smiled gently, his eyes filled with understanding. "Begin with small acts." "Master," another spoke, "how can we act with mindfulness in a world that demands constant haste and distracts us from presence?" "Slow your mind amidst chaos," the Buddha said, "like still water reflecting the moon. Even when ripples distort its surface." The disciples reflected deeply, their minds steadying with the wisdom that poured forth, as though drinking from a boundless well. "Master," a disciple asked, "what legacy do you wish for your teachings to leave in a world that often resists truth?" "My teachings are not mine," the Buddha replied, "but reflections of eternal truth. Let them inspire freedom, peace, and compassion. Do not hesitate to give, for the sky loses nothing by holding the sun, moon, and stars." The disciples watched as the man gratefully ate, his face softening with relief. The grove grew quieter, as if the very trees listened intently, bearing witness to the profound moment shared among the disciples. "Master," a disciple asked, "what final truth would you impart to us? A truth that encompasses the heart of your teachings?" "All phenomena arise and pass," the Buddha said, "but the awakened mind transcends, unshaken by change, free in ultimate peace." His disciples bowed low, their reverence immeasurable, tears flowing not from despair but from the depth of their love and respect. "Master," a young disciple whispered, "your presence is a blessing. How can we ever honor the gift of walking this path with you?" "Gratitude is shown," the Buddha said, "by walking the path with unwavering dedication, Sharing the light of truth with others, the stars began to emerge. As if the cosmos itself paid homage, the grove bathed in their soft, eternal glow. Master, a disciple asked, how can we carry your wisdom without distorting it, ensuring its purity for those who follow? Cling not to words, the Buddha said, but seek the essence. Let the truth guide you, unbound by form or tradition. True compassion is unconditional, grounded in the boundlessness within you. Walking further into the village, Buddha encountered a woman grieving by the well. All compounded things dissolve, the Buddha said, but the Dharma is timeless. Walk the path with love, courage, and unyielding resolve. With those words, the Buddha entered parinirvana, his passing a profound reminder of impermanence and the timeless truth of his teachings. The disciples wept quietly, their sorrow tempered by the clarity and strength the Buddha had bestowed upon them through his wisdom. Master, my child has died. How can I endure this grief? Buddha knelt beside her and said, do not fight your sorrow nor cling to it. Let it pass through you like clouds through the sky. Grieve, but remember your child is part of the eternal cycle of life and death. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.